Hello friends, welcome to Squaird Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be setting up the month of March in my catch-all everyday planner. We'll use stickers, pens, and washi to decorate a monthly spread, monthly overview pages, and a memory day page in my Classic Happy Planner. So come plan with me. And I've got some brush pens here all ready to go, as well as some highlighters I may use, these sets of washi tape, and these Girl Boss Anna, now Narrative Hues overlay tapes, this sticker book from Plannything, and this Happy Planner sticker book, which I'll pull from. Okay, so let's jump in and start off with the monthly layout. I'll go ahead and lay down some wax paper just so that I can try some things and get started on the actual design. I'll be using primarily the Plannything Crystal Vibes sticker book here and the blue florals that are prominent in this book. I thought it'd be kind of nice to do something a little bit moody in this March theme, but still hinting at spring. I'll also be adding in some rain elements, as you'll see as we go through, just to tie in that kind of rainy month feel with the spring season ahead. So I'm going to start off by laying a few florals down here from that book. I'll also be concentrating most of the decor in the upper left and the bottom right corners for now, since that's where the empty boxes are for the month. And I went ahead and jumped over to the Daydreamer sticker book and grabbed out a quote that I think will work well for this spread. It says, "Make things happen." I actually just got this Daydreamer sticker book from Catherine over at Planogram. She's just a sweetheart. She sent me these books that I was interested in that she had in her stash and really was ready to see go to a new home. So I was excited because I never got a chance to get the original Daydreamer sticker book and grab that out for this week. So I'm back over here to kind of figuring out these corners, working out how the florals will be put in there and what colors and just the shape of the design. What I like to do for my planner setup for both my daily and my health, and actually my faith as well, I do like to pre-set up all of the major pages ahead of time in the same theme. So it really just takes a lot of burden off of me from week to week, setting up a bunch of different pages, but allows me to have a lot of creative, fun decor in my spreads for each page that I'm looking at. It's just a way to ease the burden of decorating individual spreads each month. So I really like this idea. Of course, it's usually limited to the amount of stickers I have in my stash and, how far I can make them go. But I will say that the Plannything sticker book so far, everything that I've gotten has really had plenty of decor and made it really easy to get all of these pages themed out in the same theme without too much headache. So I do highly recommend her books as far as that goes. If you really are like me and you like to have a lot of big decor, lots of good items in her books as far as that goes. So anyway, I will, like I said in the beginning, be setting up multiple pages here in this theme. So I'm using this page to really work out how I want the theme to look overall. And I will use that design once I get it worked out on the next two spreads. So I just put in some washi tape from Daiso, which is a Japanese dollar store we have here locally in California. And I found this awesome die-cut washi tape from there, probably like 2 years ago now. It comes in a blue and a pink, and it has like this watercolor feel. It's really versatile for different items. And here today I decided to use it in as clouds, because like I said, I'll be incorporating some rain elements in this idea as well. Since I really wanted it to be a seasonal theme, but I didn't want it to be too literal this month, so I decided to go with kind of like a rainy spring feel, and the cloud washi there that I have will definitely help make that happen. So now I'm just going back through trying to see if there are any good boxes for my sidebar, because in my sidebar I like to track the books I'm reading for the month, as well as the TV movies that I'm watching that month as well. So I'll put that in. I'm just looking for some headers that I feel like work well with this color scheme. And decided on a dark purple and a light purple, since there's quite a bit of blue on the spread already, so I thought it'd be nice to bring in a little bit more of that purple. I'm also laying in some of this washi tape that I also got at Daiso, and am just trying to figure out how best to lay it in. I am trimming off the more pink elements of that washi tape. It looks purple on the roll, but when you actually roll it out, the transparency comes through and you can see that it's pretty pink. And I don't really want pink on the spread. We're going to be sticking with the blues and the purple tones on this one, and not really deviating more from that. So again, just trying to work out where I think I want the washi tape and how much of each. And I think I want to kind of wrap this one around the florals here, kind of like it is on the bottom, but it's a little bit off there, so we'll figure it out. I also feel like I need some balance here on the right side of the page with that washi, so I'll be putting some more in a second. And I've remembered too, I need to look into my future log so that I can pre-plan the month with the activities and things that are going on. So I'm going to use some of those colorful boxes again from the Planning Things sticker book to mark out the events and birthdays that I have going for this month. And normally I would actually write those things in at the end of the video, but I wasn't sure how exactly I was going to do this month's video, so I forgot that step on this one, but it really wasn't too much to write in. I'll try to remember to put that in on the next month's spread. And just going to pop in some more of that washi tape now that I got the boxes that I need in there. Also want to add in some of this script washi. I just feel like it adds another element to the spread, like almost like a texture, but like a pretty, elegant texture, which really works well with florals. So I'm going to pull that in, and I got that large roll from the washi tape shop, which just has some really awesome washi tapes that are somewhat hard to find in other places. So really like that roll. It was a really good buy. And again, back to that, I'm just going to call it the cloud washi. It's not necessarily clouds, but it looks like clouds to me, so we'll call it that. And putting some more up at the top just to create a little bit, like I said, of a rainy day mood up there. So let's go ahead and try to move this guy over to the spread and see what we have. First thing I'm going to do is actually white out the black lines here on the bottom, as well as anywhere that's going to be behind the clear stickers, just so that it has a nice clean backer. And I'm just using my Jelly Roll white opaque pen for that. I went ahead and picked up my 1.0 tip, or the 10 size of the pen, just this last week, which I'm so excited to have back in my stash because I was using the 0.8 size tip and it just wasn't doing the same amount of coverage that I really get out of the 10 tip. So I really do prefer the 1mm tip. Size for covering lines is just such a difference. Actually, highly recommend it. I'm going to go ahead and lay down the floral cluster and then also the washi tape. I'll also trim off the excess on the edges. And I'll just trim off the washi tape here to make my life a little bit easier, moving this guy over. And that looks good. Let's go ahead and move a few more of those stickers over now. And the washi as well. I think I will white out behind the washi since it is transparent, just again for a little bit of a cleaner look. And I like that cluster. Let's go ahead and move over to the clouds, making some small adjustments as I go. That looks good. We'll also trim off the excess and then try to reuse that on the opposite side of the page. So let's start off with this large cluster of the quote and the floral. I'll lay that in, make sure everything is where I want it to be, and do some trimming. Again, saving those leftovers when they're big enough to reuse in another place on the spread or in another spread. And I'll move over the boxes into the sidebar as well. Again, one of those will be for TV watched and the other ones will say books read. Also moving over the washi tape now. And that looks good, whiting out behind it. Same with the floral cluster, going to add a little bit of white right where it touches that top black line. And finally, move over that last little bit of washi tape. Going to try to adjust it so that it looks like it's outlining the floral there. Just for a little added touch. I also want it to cross over the spine, so I am whiting out any of those black lines behind there. And then finally we'll move over these clouds at the top here on the left. And that looks good. So the final step is going to be to add in some raindrops. Now I realize on camera this is probably impossible to see, but there will be a close-up at the very end of the video so you can see what I'm doing. But basically I'm just pushing down on the tip of my Tombow dual tip brush pen to create a droplet shape. And I'm doing it at an angle so that it looks a little bit like it's slanted rain. Also that is something that I did not come up with myself. I actually got that tip years ago now from Christine over at Squaird Plans her day. She is a master when it comes to marker tips for your planner. So I do highly recommend her channel if you want some tips for using highlighters, markers, and such in your planner. And now that I've got the holes cut out, we are ready to move on to the next spread, which is my monthly overview spread. So this is a custom created printable that I made for myself this year. If you've seen my planner setup videos, you'll know that I created overview spreads for pretty much all of my planners. This is how I designed the daily, everyday planner overview. And it has a month at a glance half page there on the right for my social elements. So I'll be tracking my social stats there, as well as some other things down at the bottom. And on the left-hand side is very similar to my monthly tasks overview page, which has the habit trackers and the listing for like to-dos. And then I took away the top boxes because I didn't really need those. But that's just like a nice open area for some decor and a dot grid space. I elongated the task list over there as well. So there's just a little bit about how this layout looks. I do hope to have a version of this in the shop, an undated version without all of the social elements added in. So if you wanted to use it for social, you could. But if you didn't, you could use it for many different things you could obviously apply to different areas of your life. So I wanted it to be pretty generic in that sense, but I'm also available to do customizations. So once this is up in my shop, if you want something special or if you want to look just like mine, all you have to do is reach out on Etsy and I will be happy to quote you on that. I'm already building out the design for this spread based off of the one we just did. So I'm going to keep that kind of large floral cluster in the corners, adding the big floral with some of the smaller branchier florals there, and also one of the overlay inks by Narrative Hues, just to add a little splotch of color there. I've also pulled a couple of quotes, again from the Daydreamer sticker book in the blues and purples. Some of the washi has been also set in, the cloud washi at the top and the gradient washi there at the bottom of the month. I'll add in a bit more of that washi along with the script washi, just try to get those same vibes that I had in the front here on this spread. So I'm not exactly sure where I want the washi on this one. Don't want to block too much of the space, but I also want it to feel balanced. So I found that in the last 2 months, the best balance is to have the washi in threes on this spread, with one in the middle on the right and then two on the left, one near the top and one near the bottom. So I'll probably default to that as well, just because I know it will balance well and I can work it in. I did struggle a little bit with some of the branchier elements just because I was running low on those types of stickers. So I fiddle around with them in some areas quite a bit. Also trying to figure out how I want this cluster here of decor to look, where I want things to be balanced at. And I think that larger floral was just a little bit too much. Took up too much space and crowded things. So I'm going to go to a smaller blue floral there and see if I like that better. I also felt like there was a little bit too much washi there, so maybe we'll cut it in half and use the other half here on the left-hand side. Just trying again to balance it somehow and still maintaining the look and feel like I had on the previous page. I think that kind of works. It's a little bit different, but as far as getting everything I wanted on the sheet, I think it will do. So let's go ahead and start moving things over. And I'm going to start here at the bottom, just laying in that washi tape. Not going to bother to white out the lines on this one at the very bottom of this checklist. I barely ever get that far down the list, so I just have it there just in case I have a long task list for the month. And I'll go ahead and lay over this cluster here on the right and trim it out as well, trying to save any big pieces. I'll also white out a little bit on this monthly area just for the washi tape. I don't think I really needed to do that because the lines were gray instead of black, but it just does make a little bit of a cleaner look, so I went for it. And moved in some of the clouds. And now moving in the left-hand side of the page with the washi tape and the clusters of florals. I really like the quotes that I picked for this month and where I put them. I think they all will work well with the individual spreads I put them on. This one about happiness being an inside job kind of goes along with my goals for the year. My word of the year is joy, so I'm always looking for how to be happy in the little things, in the little tasks. That's really been my focus for the year, and I am really feeling like this is working. I've never done a word of the year before, but having that focus word really has helped me change my mindset, which is what the goal was for me this year, just to have a more positive and upbeat mindset. So really happy with the progress on that end. And finally, I'm going to go ahead and drop in some raindrops with that dual tip brush pen and a little bit more cloudscape here at the top. And just layering up that washi tape and finding some homes for the excess. If you guys want to see how these spreads come out at the end of the month, do check out my live flip-through videos that I do. Usually the very first weekend of the new month, I will flip through all of the spreads from my previous month's planners, showing you guys how I use them, walking you through all of the details. And if you have any questions, it's a great time to leave them in the chat, and then you can have your questions answered right away and get clarification if need be while we are live. So it's a fun way for me to share my planning techniques with you guys and how the month went, and then also answer your questions. So do check out those live flip throughs for more about how I'm using my planners. I'm highlighting now some of the elements here in the spread, putting some bullets in both purple and blue for my Instagram and YouTube daily followers. That's what I'll track there. I also highlighted the habit trackers here that I'll be filling in now with my standard habits that I've been tracking this year, which is if I went outside, which has been sad this year already. Also my AM and PM skincare routine, my audiobook time, and my stretching PT time. And then I also highlighted a little bit down below in the social media edition I put on there just for some added color and decor. Okay, so ready to move on to the very last page of the month, which is another custom printable I made mainly for myself, but again, will probably be carrying in my shop sometime soon. And that is my memory a day page. So I'll start off with adding in some cloudscape there at the top. I think I'm safe to just go ahead and lay down some stickers on this one now that I've gotten a feel for how the decor is going to go. So we'll just be brave and start right on the page. I'm going to go ahead and white out some of the lines in the monthly, just again for a cleaner look. And start laying in some washi tape. Again, kind of cutting out the pink tones from that gradient washi, and then layering it with the script washi as I did before. I'll also add in a little bit of those overlay inks. And I thought it might be easier to do this on an empty sticker sheet or, on a unbacked sticker sheet so that I could finish out designing the cluster of the smaller florals. Because I really am so low that I'll be cutting out some of the branchier elements from pre-made clusters there on the sticker book. So yes, I'm just kind of building it out on my fingers there just to see if I can make it work. And I laid that one down a little bit too early, not making enough space for my little branchy cluster here. I do play around with this one quite a bit, so just give me a moment, just because, like I said, I didn't really have the stickers I wanted for this last section of the month. And while I'm working it out, grabbing stems from other stickers and just trying to, again, make this look like the ones before it. Talk about how I use this spread. So this one, again, is a memory a day spread. And basically, I just write down a brief memory or a couple of memories, if I feel so inclined, in each box of the month. I used to do that on my full monthly spread in years past, but now I am kind of downsizing because I was writing literally sentences of what I had done instead of just a single memory before, so I thought limiting my space could only be a good thing. It also freed up my monthly for more of a, event tracking, appointments, birthdays, things like that, which I've been using more and more as we've climbed out of this pandemic. So I'm back to really needing a space for monthly scheduling. That's where I came up with this smaller, just individual page, kind of on the currently page of most planners. I love having this little element of my planner and looking back on it from year to year and just kind of seeing how each month and day was different from the one before. So it's a really nice thing to have in your planner if you are struggling to find a way to maybe use your monthly or even your currently. Really highly recommend tracking a memory a day in some form or fashion. Okay, so I think I've worked out the clusters and everything else is looking good. Just need a quote, which I'm going to grab out this quote that just says "this moment" as part of the "this moment is all there is" quote. Not a big fan of that quote, so this moment I think will work well for the memory a day. Just cut that part of it out. And I'll do some trimming as well. Add in those raindrops. And finally, add in my space for a couple of highlights from the month. And that is it, friends. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, too, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch. And think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Bye.